the growth in retail media is huge. And I think this year it's going to be bigger than TV in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Do you know any words right now?
Watashi no Nihongo wa Jouzu den.
Oh,
Were you saying something and swearing at me?
Yeah,
or what was it?
yeah.
So welcome back to another Digital Cheesecake podcast, guys. So this is the third recording of today, isn't it?
Of
It's
today,
been a
yeah.
busy day. But yeah, if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, definitely subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and if you go to our website,
follow.
go and subscribe on email because we need some email followers,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got Paul today. Paul's background is amazing. He's worked at Virgin
pretty cool.
Media, Pepsi, and now Superdrug.
Yeah.
So I just want to say a big thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Hello,
Yes,
thank you.
hello.
Nice to be here. Yeah.
So for anyone who's just chiming in for the first time in terms of the podcast, I was hoping you could give us a bit of a background of yourself to date, your
How did you
career
get
history.
there?
How did you get to Superdrug?
Journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've sort of like it's a winding road to Superdrug. So I'm going to briefly kind of give you a view. I'm in the UK about 11 years now. All right. So I actually came over with Virgin
How did you
Media.
survive? Well, I used to hear. Just kidding.
Yeah. I'm in the UK about 11 years. I came over with Virgin Media, so I used to work for Virgin back in Dublin, and then it was part of like a consolidation of teams. And
Yeah.
my boss asked me to kind of promote. She promoted me. Asked me to come over to the UK, so
Nice.
that led me to come to the UK. So I did amazing role at Virgin, kind of like everything of brand, digital, sponsorship, all that sort of good stuff. And then
Cool.
into Pepsi, went in on the beverages team first off. Did that a couple of
Is
years.
it as cool as it sounds?
Very cool. Yeah.
Drink tons of Pepsi. Drink the Kool-Aid.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Didn't drink Coke for like 4 or 5
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. And then sort of like built an in-house creative and media team
Cool.
at Pepsi for a couple of years, and then up at Superdrug. Prior to that, then kind of like, you know, they're sort of my three mainstay jobs, like 5 years.
Question,
Yeah.
because people
Yeah.
listening would be like, those are such cool brands.
Yeah.
Can you go back? I know we were chatting about before, like your first job. Like, how did you even get these cool brands in your CV? Did you choose some right avenues?
Yeah, so look, I mean, with anything like that, there's luck and timing always comes into play as well, right? So my first job out of uni, I ended up working in Lithuania,
Yeah.
believe it or not, like the most random thing ever. So I graduated in 2004. That's so long ago.
That's all right.
Wasn't that long ago?
iPhone's just out by then.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I still had a Nokia.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
But basically, I ended up getting on a grad scheme to go out and work in Lithuania for a year with the
That's
European
super cool.
Union. It was so cool. Working for a textile company.
Cool.
Cooler than it sounds.
Cool.
yeah. But basically, you're brought in as a sort of a marketing grad to help them do business outside of Eastern Europe. So basically, kind of, I spoke English, so therefore I did proofreading and turned all their materials into English facing, did kind of met English speaking clients and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then from there, sort of like went from a year in Lithuania straight then to a year and a half in Japan. So kind of
Oh,
like ended up
nice.
teaching English in Japan on the JET program, which is like kind
Really?
of like a
Where
government
in Tokyo? Or?
no, northern Japan. I lived in a small village, like a tiny
Wow.
village,
Oh,
like
wow.
a
What was
rice
that
farm.
like? Was it good?
Incredible. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Japan, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It's so cool. So that was off marketing, right? So the kind of like,
Yeah.
so it was sort of like a year in the village, basically.
Did you learn Japanese?
Yeah, so I had really good
Do you
Japanese.
know any words right now?
Watashi no Nihongo wa Jouzu den.
Were you saying something and swearing at me? Or what was it?
Yeah. And ima watashi no Nihongo wa benko.
What is that?
So I'm going to Japan in next month as
Oh,
well. Like, it's the
cool.
first time back in 20 years.
Oh
I'm
my
super
God, that'll be
excited.
unreal.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
anyway,
sorry.
did that and that was cool. Ended up then working for Canon. Got a really cool job in
nice.
consumer imaging
Okay,
department there.
so you got into Canon.
That was good. So that
Cool.
was good on my CV. Well, basically I think the catalyst is really having that good grad program. And
Yeah.
after that time, just good things happen, right?
Cool.
And then I ended up working in an ad agency in Dublin, JWT, which is...
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
and then I
agency.
worked in Sydney. I don't know. I'm pointing at you.
You went to
because-
Sydney?
Yeah, I lived in Sydney. I don't know
Oh,
if you're
cool.
from Sydney, but
No,
you're
I'm
Australian.
Queenslander, but I lived in Sydney. Okay, yeah.
I actually worked in
Did you
Queensland
like
for a
it?
while.
Oh,
yeah.
Queenslander, we love it.
Yeah, on North Stradbroke, South Stradbroke Island.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Did you love it?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, so it was a hotel there. I did worked for about 3 or 4 months
Oh
coaching
my
tennis.
God.
That's cool.
You've done a real mix.
Yeah,
You've done
yeah.
in and out.
Yeah.
Then
Okay,
I came
cool.
back and then it's like, okay, right, I've done all the because I travelled for like 2 years, pretty
Oh,
much, 2.5
amazing.
years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then ended back up in Ireland and got a job at UPC, which is now Virgin Media, and here I am. Yeah.
You're a bit of an
Oh,
adventurer,
wow.
really, aren't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I don't sit still. So
Yeah,
11
that's
years, so I
cool.
do 11 years in the UK. I never planned, but obviously
Wow.
I've got a wife.
Do you feel
I've got
settled?
A kid.
You feel settled in the UK? You like the UK?
I don't feel settled, but I am settled.
Yeah, I don't think
If that
anyone
makes
feels
sense.
settled in the
Yeah.
UK.
Yeah. So I've done it all: wife, kid, and
Yeah.
house.
Oh,
so
wow.
tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so they were UPS. You said UPS?
UPC.
UPC. What was that? Sorry.
So UPC, so Virgin Media are part of Liberty Global, which
Yeah.
is the world's largest cable organization,
Yeah, okay.
based out of like Denver, and they have
Yeah.
but they don't have any well, at the time didn't have any US cable companies. They're all over Europe and potentially Asia. Don't quote me on that. But anyway,
Yeah.
so UPC was one of the brands that they had here, and then Virgin Media was also part of the brand set as well.
Wow.
But then they decided to bring Virgin Media to Ireland, so kind of like upgraded brand from UPC to Virgin, and that's kind of how I ended up here in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Because my boss, she got promoted, and then she promoted me to come over to the UK with her as well. So happy days.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And now you're head of retail media, so
Yeah.
you brought that to Superdrug. So how was that process?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like it's been a great journey on the retail media side of things. So, I mean, it's a funny way how it started. Really, it's kind of like serendipitous in one way. It's like obviously a big organization like that is definitely looking at retail media anyway, always looking for the next big thing. But I guess kind of like my sort of like angle into it at the same time that the AS Watson guys were looking at it, I was just on Twitter one day or X or whatever it was called, and I would just see that like more and more people are talking about retail media. And there's this guy called Colin Lewis who's kind of big in the retail media space, tweeting about it the whole time. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to slide into his DMs like any good marketer.
I love that. You didn't poke on Facebook.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ding, ding, ding. And then I said, hey, are you up for just chatting about retail media? I work here. And straight away he did. And then guess what? He's Irish. And guess what?
Mate.
His mum lives 2 streets away.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it.
It's honestly those connection things, hey?
Yeah. And then from there, then just kind of we started to business case it out, and then you do all your RFP, anything that needs to go, and kind of building the foundations of like a new unit, I suppose.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of how it came
Can you
about,
just dumb it down for those that don't know what retail media is?
Yeah.
Just dumb it, just go
Selling
for it.
and planning advertising space throughout a retailer's estate. That
So you've
could
got
be-
clients that you work with in Superdrug.
Yeah, suppliers are now clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, brands are clients. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And do they pay for the advertising?
Correct.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
much
cool.
in the same way that they brief a media agency
Yeah.
to kind of brief us to say we want to appear here
Yeah.
over a certain period of time, and these are KPIs, and can you deliver on those? Yeah.
Cool. So the growth in this area, what do you think for the next
It's
few
massive.
years?
Yeah. I mean, like there's loads of figures going around. I think this year it's going to be bigger than TV in the UK, which
Oh,
kind of gives
wow.
you indicative, like kind of like obviously linear TV is on the decline, but like the growth in retail media is huge. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not like the metaverse. Like marketeers love shiny new things.
Yeah.
It's not like the metaverse and all these sort of things.
What happened to the metaverse?
I forgot about the metaverse.
I literally forgot about it.
Oh my God.
Is that still going?
I
Must
don't
be.
know.
It's somewhere.
Yeah,
Somewhere. It's definitely somewhere.
in the metaverse.
Who knows? But yeah, like
okay.
I kind of like it solves a real problem or a challenge for a lot of brands, that it kind of gives them access to data, and that's what the kind of the
what
strength of
people
retail
want.
media. Exactly. Yeah.
So the start of it was when you started doing it, right? Like how small was the scale with Superdrug? You had like a few brands that were in there, and then
Yeah, I guess so. You test and learn with a couple of brands, and then you kind of start to scale up as well, right?
Yeah.
So you start off with 2 or 3 sort of friendly brands that are willing to test and learn and say we'll go in knowing we won't get like all the best results, or you might not be that capable yet, and then you grow from there. And then you start off, like, you start your journey kind of like, you don't go and do everything all at once. Obviously, you're going like, okay, we're going to do one area. We work on that. We build up on that. And then we go and then we'll focus on another area. Because, like, there's so many areas you can focus on as well.
Yeah.
With
so what
limited
would be the
time.
most people would focus on?
So a lot of it at the moment is online. So
Yeah.
kind of like with sponsored products and search,
Sponsored products
display
and
as well. Like, so
search.
think about, so like Amazon is a real catalyst for retail media, right? So if you think about, they're, I think, the world's 3rd largest advertising network. So you've got like Alphabet, which own Google, then you've got Meta. And then so
So-
Amazon is really an advertising business, right?
So an example for a
Interesting.
customer is that you may have a brand like L'Oreal or something,
Yeah.
and you may have a sponsored search ad, and you're actually spending the budget, or they're giving you the budget.
They'll give us the budget.
Yeah.
So there's 2 ways it can work. We do sort of managed service and a self-service,
Yeah.
right? So a brand might kind of say to my team, we are happy for you guys to run
Yeah.
it. So here's the list of SKUs that are a
Nice.
priority over a set period of time.
Yeah.
Can you deliver on growth around those?
Cool.
Fine. We can do that and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then they might also have an in-house team as well. So
Yeah.
some brands like P&G have an in-house team. So
Yeah.
they're very hands-on, and away you go. Happy to do that.
Yeah.
They can access Criteo or whatever it needs to be. And then on the third side, then you've got like an agency, and that's sort of increasingly becoming more important as well. So like a brand might instruct the agency to say, here's the budget, go away and whatever, and then we stay close in whatever way that model works.
So much opportunity, right? Especially with like collaborations and all this stuff about brands being together.
Yeah.
Do you cover also the social media element?
Yeah. So there's kind of three areas really. Yeah. There's like the online, which we kind of covered, sponsored products display, building brand pages and whatever that might be. The middle part then is like what we call offsite. And that has social media and various other parts. You might have out of home, or digital out of home, whatever. And when it's social media, again, like what the brands are looking to access is data and audiences really as well, right? So like when I think about data, the brands are looking to access that under kind of three areas. So number one is sort of insights. So like traditionally to build a campaign, you need an insight. So like that could be a category insight or brand insight and stuff that we have plenty of. So we might get instruction or brief to kind of go ahead, build us some insights. We then deliver that back to a brand. Those insights then form into an audience. And then that's what drives the kind of like the flighting of a campaign. Yeah. So it could be like category buyers, new to brand, whatever those audiences are. Then we kind of put that into Meta more often than not as well, and then run a campaign. And then the third part of that would be the data reporting element as well. Like, so what lift did it drive? Was it a sales lift, a brand lift, and so on? So that's the sort of three areas.
Cool. And what about, let's say, people who are listening, maybe they're like small founders in pharma or beauty, can they essentially be a part of that, or they have to be approved brands that work with you guys, with a certain budget? Well,
yeah, so I guess like for smaller brands, number one, they'd be needed to be listed, obviously, at Superdrug. I guess the opportunity would be for those smaller brands. There's kind of two real areas. Well, yes, absolutely, they can pay to play. There are sort of sometimes budget limitations as well, because there's sort of like a minimum spend you'd want.
Some big players.
Yeah, well, you want kind of a minimum spend really to make your money back, right? Sure. So we would say to them, well, look, we're happy to take your money, but just know that you might not
that's
get
like
the best
everything, right? If you spend £10 a day on something, you're probably not going to get the returns.
Exactly. And then the other opportunity then is like, so marketplace as well. Like, so, if you have like an extended shelf through a marketplace as well, like a lot of marketplace brands that wouldn't be listed in store. Generally, marketplace brand would be someone that would be already on Amazon, or they might be on eBay or Etsy or whatever. So they're all very familiar with sort of how that world works. Because they're constantly kind of like trying to, get like, prime position on those sites through paid media anyway. So that's like a big opportunity as well. And like, I guess the kind of like the opportunity for us then as well, if we were to go live with that thing, would be sort of a long tail opportunity. So you've got like big brands on one side with bigger investments, but if you have 20 or 30 or whatever smaller brands, the opportunity of them adding up as well becomes quite sort of like interesting as well.
So on a controversial one, how do you, let's say you've got brands bidding against each other, like, because do you see the success? You're obviously going to say yes, but like the success of having a bigger brand like Superdrug and, all the other big brands versus individual brands like bidding against you, how do you manage that?
Yeah, we don't allow conquesting as well, right? So like that is kind of first things first. So you can't have like two. Exactly. Yeah. So that's just not fair. Yeah. And then, but like it's algorithmically based as well, right? So it's not going to be like the person that spends the most is going to win. It's based on your kind of like your behavior as well, right? So it's going to serve you the right ad,
creative
the right
offer,
time.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
And are you finished with the program at the moment, or the new things that are coming through, or that
there's always new things coming through as well? Like kind of like, as you can imagine, kind of like greater levels of reporting, greater levels of incremental reporting, kind of like you driving offline uplift as well. Like people are always interested in kind of, have I been exposed to an ad and then gone in store and bought something as well?
How's your attribution model?
How do you measure that? So if you see the screens and somebody is purchasing based on the advert from a screen, how do you measure or track that?
Well, digital screens is more difficult for sure, right? But like if you have like a someone who's logged in as a health and beauty card member, we can
you can track that all day.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is relatively easy then as well. Like the challenge comes into incrementality as well. Or would that person have already bought something, versus having seen the ad as well? So that's kind of like incremental ROAS is now a big kind of thing as well. The screens one is tricky as well. We're working through that. But
you track them.
Yeah, well, no, you can like, you can do A/B testing as well. So you can control expose as well. So we kind of run an ad over X amount of stores and then have no ad running those stores. Was there an uplift on the exposed stores? Then you can kind of do advanced tracking as well. You could have like sensors on screens as well, like and kind of like was a person standing in front of that screen, then go to till and check out. So there's many different ways, and that area, the in-store piece will grow, and you can get a whole lot more advanced on that. over the next couple of years.
And not to name any competitors or include your own brand, if you to look at other retailers or businesses that are doing and smashing it from a retail media perspective, are there any globally where you think that's the pinnacle that we need to aim at, or do you think it's a pretty much level playing field?
No, it's like, look, Walmart, I kind of announced recently that 1/3 of their profits are from retail media. So that is huge.
That's
right?
enormous.
It's a lot of money. It's in the billions. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the American businesses are kind of like leading the way as well. Then UK, I mean, but like the big stalwarts are there, like the Tesco's and Sainsbury's and all those are doing a great job. I think kind of like the challenge is now there's more the proliferation of retail media networks, right? There's more and more coming up. So like, and the brands are kind of like got a lot of choice. That's it. And you've already got a fragmented media plan as well, like because gone are the days of just kind of having TV, print, and radio.
It'd be enormous.
Huge now as well. Like so, it's a challenge for the brands.
And how do you manage that internally? With you've got your teams, and then you've got lots of media plans, lots of different brands. How do you manage that with the market?
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah,
it's fine. Wow, that's a nice answer. People are like, before we had, it's stressful. It's really stressful.
I mean, like we're all used to doing it, right? So
cool.
So it's once you have a good process in place.
Process.
Once you have good relationships in place, once you have like SLAs in place, all those sort of things.
Like you have a nice team. You've got a good team.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
So you're leading digital transformation. So how do you get your team on board? Like, how do you bring everyone with you with your ideas?
I mean, like the first thing with anything like that is senior stakeholder, right? So you absolutely need that's got to come from the top down, right? Because with anything like this, there's an element of change, right? So like, maybe this isn't like huge element. There is some elements of change, but it's something new, right? Kind of like you're not interrupting existing processes, but you're asking people to maybe do something that they haven't necessarily done before, especially as you grow out the team. And then, there's new terminology capabilities required. So you're asking IT teams to do new things. You're asking legal teams, finance teams. So now we're like...
We're going to bring everyone on the journey.
This kind of like is touched on everybody really, right? So like you're now a billable agency as well. So there's many, many different things. So like senior stakeholder alignment, absolutely number one. And then you just got to go and curry favor. You just got to build relationships, and kind of like, and go from there. And like, thankfully everyone's all in, right? So it's all good.
And does that spill over into the budget? So you've got to prove a concept and get some kind of revenue back before reinvestment, or
absolutely, So like, kind of like you've got a target, you got to hit that target, and then that then will kind of like decide on where you grow and how you can grow and the resource and everything that you can get from the back of that. Cool.